Veronica Kieran, founder and creative director at Green Cup Design.
And I'm Hattie, the graphic designer with Green Cup Design.
So the first question that I want to touch on is the difference between branding and brand identity. And there is a difference, right?
Yes, absolutely. There's a really big difference, and that's definitely one of the biggest misconceptions about brand and brand identity. Oftentimes when I tell people that I'm a brand strategist, they go, "Oh, so you design logos?" I'm like, yes and no, kind of, not really, but I do. Branding is 4 simple questions. It's who are you, what do you do, who needs to know, and why should they care? And that's directly involved in your business and your business values and your ideals as a business or your person. If we're talking about personal branding, that's something different. But brand identity is the design that comes out of that. It's how your brand is reflected in all of the touch points, your logo, your business card, anything of that sort. So the identity is purely visual, but branding is the thinking and the brainstorming and your ideals and values as a business behind it.
Great. We now know a little bit more about what branding is, but what are the goals of branding? Why should somebody do it?
Simply, in 3 little steps, it can be any of these. It can be just one of these, is to delight customers, attract prospects, or build brand equity, or all of them.
So there are a lot of different reasons that somebody might come to Green Cup Design for branding. What are some of those reasons?
Well, first, there may be a new company or a new product, and they would like to get the word out about that, and therefore they need a brand identity to surround that. Mm-hmm. Second reason would be that they would have a name change, or potentially just other company changes where they're like, we're kind of not who we were when we first started, and so that encompasses more than just a name change. It's just changes in the brand in general, and so there needs to be changes in the brand identity as well. And this is kind of what we talked about in the first question, the difference between brand and brand identity. Maybe somebody wants to revitalize their brand identity, where their business or their brand is the same, but they realize that their look isn't exactly aligning with customers and with trends, and they're like, we need to go through a redesign of our brand identity. However, our business brand is fine. Now, it can also go the other way around. Businesses can be like, our identity is great, but our brand is struggling. People don't like us for some reason. And so we kind of need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what went wrong, figuring out where we're not aligning with customers. And so that's more strategy based. On a side note, you could have the greatest designed identity in the world, and people won't like your brand. And so, like I said, that's just pulling back and figuring out kind of what went wrong. And so that's rebranding as well. There's also creating a more integrated, unified look, where I have so many touch points, or businesses may have so many touch points that may either just be from being designed by several different types of designers. They may just be designed over a longer period of time, where you have, a touch point or your logo, which you may have had since from when your business first started, but other touch points may be more up to date with the times, and so there's a disconnect within your brand. And so when you're just like, I have all of these pieces and they don't go together, you can hire Green Cup Design to kind of pull all of these together to create a more unified look. And you may say, you know what, this touch point is really working for us, and this touch point is really working for us. But these aren't so much. We can kind of throw those out. And so even though these 2 touch points may visually look very different, we as a company can take those 2 looks, those 2 feels, combine the elements of what is the best of both of them, and then create a new brand or brand identity around that.
So what is the branding process?
Simply, I'd say in 3 steps, it's research, clarifying strategy, and designing the identity. And that's the fun part.
Yeah. So at the end of the process, what can our client expect to receive from us?
It's pretty cool. It is a full brand guide, and now that we have an understanding of what brand is and the strategy behind it and why it's so important, it's really hard to just do a logo, because a logo isn't a brand, a business card isn't a brand. It's everything, even to like what colors you use and the typography system that you use. And that's essentially what you get, is a full brand guide that encompasses everything of what the brand is. Ideally, once you have that, you can go to many different designers and say, this is our brand, and this is how you use our brand, and this is how our brand looks. And so that way, no matter who's designing it, it can all look and feel the same. And that's kind of what we talked about earlier about creating a unified, integrated campaign, which is very, very needed nowadays with lots of different types of businesses. But in this brand guide, you'd get everything that I mentioned earlier. It's your logo, the colors, the scheme, any like graphical elements or patterns that come with your brand. It's a typography system, and that includes like for both print and web, what your headlines look like. Do you have custom typography? Do you have really cool hand lettered script? And any of those things and more can be included in that. And it's also not just those things, but it's how you use them. Mm-hmm. It's we use this type system here, and this is how it looks. We use these colors, but only in these respective areas. This pattern is really neat, but we only use it on the business card, and we only use it on the website in certain areas. And I think that those rich types of specific brands get really deep, and I think are really impactful.
I'm Veronica.
And I'm Hattie.
And this has been a Green Cup Design Tidbit.
There is... I'm so worried about the cat.
Oh my god, Turbo. Get down.
There is cause branding, which is I want a brand, or you have a nonprofit, something like that, and you want to either align with a cause or a charity. There's also, I forgot what else.
Oh shoot, that's okay. He's like making me laugh.
There is digital branding, where it is you can, wow, I haven't talked about digital branding. I'm so sorry.
So there's a lot of different reasons that people may come to us for branding, and I'm just like ending it.
Okay.
What is the branding process?
Simply, first, there's always research where you have a company and, I don't know, do I need to expound on research?
No?
No.
Okay.
So, oh, I'm sorry, we were rolling. We were rolling with that. You told me to, and I didn't listen. I'm sorry.
Do you want to start from scratch on that? This is
yeah, sure. I kind of was like, I didn't, and do.
Okay. So what?
Okay, sorry.
So what does the client get when the process is over?
As far as I was like clarifying with you. So ask the question again. I'm sorry.